public trail by your home, a hiking trail? If so, you might be liable for anyone who gets hurt on it. At 5 o'clock, I'm Jeff Giannola.
And I'm Jennifer Hoff. This is a problem with some trails in Portland. Neighbors are fighting to clear up the liability issue.
But the city wants to move forward with plans for new trails, so our Tim Becker is asking the tough questions. He's live in the newsroom. This is interesting, Tim.
Yeah, there's a lot of tentacles in this story, Jeff. The trails we're talking about are part of the public right-of-ways, most of that land owned by the Bureau of Transportation, and none of those trails built with permits from the city. Now, the question of liability is coming up again because of the city's interest in restarting or relooking into that building process.
I think the city, before they allow a single new trail, the city needs to come up with a plan to remedy this type of hazard.
Elizabeth Duncan and Eric Sorensen showed me what worries them the most.
They're just waiting to fall through and crumble.
Trails built on unimproved right-of-ways, some right through driveways and backyards owned by Portland's Bureau of Transportation.
This is a particularly good stretch.
The trails were mostly built by volunteers on their own time and without permits that would guarantee they met some sort of city standards. Because of that, adjacent property owners are liable if anyone is hurt using them.
So it's a big problem. It's just not one area. It doesn't just impact a few people. The potential impact is pretty widespread, I think.
I can tell you in no uncertain terms that ORS 105.668 is no magic cure to avoid liability.
Duncan and others took their case to City Council 2 weeks ago, arguing against the Bureau of Transportation's latest proposal to restart the trail building process it halted 7 years ago when it first learned of the liability issues.
PBOT needs to do something to clean up this situation first.
We think a trail that goes through this process would clarify the liability concerns.
New trail, though. What about existing trails?
Existing trails can also be put through this process, and that'll also clarify the liability issue.
A spokesman with the Bureau of Transportation points to a 2011 state law that limits liability of the city, the landowners, and trail builders with city approval in the future. But Duncan, herself an attorney, tells me it does nothing for existing trails and only offers immunity from liability for negligence actions.
It's absolutely criminal to make people like this liable for this kind of a situation. This is not something an ordinary property owner can come out and fix.
No. And what adds to the problem, Duncan tells me, is that most people who now live adjacent to these right-of-ways, they don't even know they can be held liable if someone gets hurt there. That's a major issue that they want the city to address. The city now having the current proposal amended. They're going to revisit the issue November 4th, so we'll be sure and follow up then and let you know what they come up with. Back to you.
Yeah, and I know we've enlightened a lot of homeowners now, Tim. Thank you.
We hope so.
Very